UVs and rules. Alright, so we're going to look at UVs on a simple box. There are a lot of different factors for UVs, and to cover them on all shapes is just way too overwhelming. So we're going to look at just the box for right now. And the first thing we need to do is make a box. Go to Create Polygon Primitives, take Interactive Creation off, and click the box. So the box already has UVs. Well, we're going to get rid of them by going to right-click in the UV texture editor window, click and drag a marquee selection, and just delete them. We have to delete them that way. We cannot delete them using delete on a keyboard. Okay. Now, we're going to look at this shape by taking a picture of it with a camera. Okay. If I went into planar mapping, it's basically saying, hey, planar mapping underscore box, I can use the camera attribute, and I can hit apply, and this will take a picture of the box just like it is, and it looks like that over in the 2D world, the UV image editor. And you'll see some red and some purple. So the red is dictating the faces away from the camera, and the purple is indicated that there is a problem and there's faces on top of each other that are not unfolded. Okay, well, if I went to jump into a top view and went create UVs planar mapping, you would see it all red. So the first thing, if you are going to be using the cutting method, you have to make sure that there is a percentage of these UVs that are not all red. Okay, there's so many ways to do this, so I'm trying to keep this watered down as much as possible for this very introductory class, but I will say that red is bad, purple's okay, and blue is good. Okay, alright, so here's what you do. Planar mapping. Okay, in this case, the cutting method just dictates I have to choose which edges to cut with an X-Acto knife, and I'll cut them, and then I can grab the UVs of this object and unfold them, and there we go, blue UVs, good. So that dictates that there's no overlapping UVs. So anytime you see something like this, and I'll just cut this edge, and don't do this part, I'm just showing you colors. So anytime you see dark blue means that it has a face that has not been unfolded correctly. Okay, it's stacked. If you see this purple, means it's stacked and flipped, and red just means it's flipped. So the only color in this case would be blue that's legitimate enough to be able to paint on this object. Alright, cool. Now the other method, that was the cutting method, the other method is the explode and stitch method, I call it. So in order to do that, we can go to Create UVs, Automatic Mapping. And our job is to limit the amount of seams always on a three-dimensional object. So in this case, I'll think about that upside down T. I'll start with this edge, and I'll just hit the Move and Sew button. I'll move and sew this one. I'll move and sew this one, and finally this one. And now I have that T. And if I wanted these to lay out correctly, I can go to Polygons, Layout, Square Box, go to Reset Settings, and hit Apply. There we go. So it laid it out on the 0 to 1. So that's how you make UVs on a cube. Now it gets way more complex than that, but for right now just know the two different methods, the cutting and the exploding, and we can use them in conjunction with each other to create UVs. Alright, now I want to show you something that I use as a tool to help keep uniformity across the mesh at even a very introduction level. It's called a checkerboard, so I'll show you that in the next video.